All right, everybody, are you ready for a brand new DCU update? All right, so I've got quite a bit of news to bring to you guys today, and there's been some movement on James Gunn's Superman Legacy film. And I'm going to show you guys a bunch of pictures today, and we're going to look at some stuff that's interesting. First, though, I want to address some interesting stuff that happened after my last video. I do see the most disgusting comments popping up on YouTube and on Twitter, which is funny. I had people putting me down on Twitter because I might get a few views on my video on Twitter and they think that represents my YouTube channel. And I thank them for their concern on the growth of my channel and that I'm doing just fine and growing exponentially, which I am. I gained over 10% of, I've been on here for a little over 2 years, since, almost 2.5 years. And I have gained 10% of my subscribers just in the last 28 days. So I am growing exponentially, and I appreciate everybody who's following me. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because I will be bringing you all the DC news going forward for years to come. I am not going anywhere. So what's interesting, though, is I get the most vile comments on Twitter. People will call me all kinds of disgusting names. I don't even engage with them. It's hilarious to watch. And they say the Snyder people are the vile ones and the toxic ones, and that is not the case. There are some comments I have had to delete on my YouTube channel. If you're going to sit there and start calling me names, vile names, and using terrible language, it's getting deleted. I'm just telling you right now. I will not put up with it. And some people just drop in just to do that. I had one person also dropping in several people talking about the end of John Wick, and I had to delete their comments because they were telling everybody what happens at the very end, which I think is ridiculous. So I am watching and I am paying attention, and people can be pretty disgusting, I will tell you that. But it doesn't bother me at all. I understand how the internet works, and it does not affect my psyche. It does not affect me. You can call me all the names you want, but I'm not going to tolerate it. So you could sit there and call us the cultists and everything else, but you need to look in the mirror, people, the ones who are doing that. All the other people, I appreciate all the support. So let's dig into these pictures. So like I said, a lot of what I'm going to show you today does have to do with James Gunn. And here's the first picture. It says, according to James Gunn, a casting director has just been hired for Superman Legacy. So that is according to James Gunn himself. And we do have some more news in regards to James Gunn. All right, now, this is interesting. I found this. This is Zachary Levi talking about Shazam! Fury of the Gods. And he was in an interview, and they asked him, do you think that there's going to be a third film? And this is what he said. I think Shazam! Fury of the Gods is objectively, actually, a better film than the first, the actor stated. A lot of people don't think so. When asked if the character of Shazam will continue to be in the DC universe going forward, Levi was hopeful, though he stated he has yet to have any conversations about it. I don't know, man. I mean, this is what I know. A business is a business. So they don't tend to make more products of something that didn't make them the money that they wanted, right? Levi answered. I would love to keep playing this role. I am literally paid to be an immature version of myself. I would highly recommend. I would highly recommend. But I don't know. I haven't had any conversations about it. So I'm just kind of here living life. Code, Shazam is dead. Okay. That movie lost so much money for the studio. They're predicting it to lose over $100 million, which is going to be the biggest hit the studio has taken. And, the Black Adam made way more money than Shazam did, and this was a sequel. It tells you something. People were there for Shazam, or for Black Adam, but after the crap that they pulled, people have turned away from DC and Warner Brothers pretty much entirely. And for all those people that said they're true DC fans, why did they not show up to Shazam! Fury of the Gods? They say that people who like the Snyderverse are the minority. Then where were all the people to help support this film? The narrative doesn't hold weight. All right, so this was another article I read. It says HBO Max's Titans writer expects a revival following cancellation. Now, this is interesting. I have a lot of thoughts on Titans. If you guys have watched any of my reviews from last year, I absolutely hated season 3. Like, it was, the writing was garbage, like absolute garbage. What I love about this show is it has extremely high production values. And they need to hire different writers because the show is always a mess. And I've watched 3 or 4 episodes in the current season, and it's still a mess. It's borderline incoherent the way that they write this show. It just doesn't make any logical sense. And they expect this to follow, to have a revival. And the writer says, it may take 5 years, but he does expect the show to come back. And that Jeff Johns was a huge collaborator with this. And man, if he was collaborating, I have to question everybody's writing ability because this show has been off the charts bad for quite a while. Now, this is interesting. This is something I just saw. So Frank Grillo confirms he has a role in James Gunn's DCU. It'll be interesting to who he's going to play. It'd be funny if they have him come in to play Batman. I could see him playing Batman. Now, I'll tell you who I thought Frank Grillo should have played. He should have been Nathan Drake in the Uncharted movies. I thought he would make a great Nathan Drake, but obviously they didn't go that route. But I thought he was primed for that. So we'll see what he's going to play, but he's saying he says he is a part of this. So that's kind of fun right there. All right, now, this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'll switch over to video, and I'll kind of talk about my feelings on this. So somebody was asking him about Superman Legacy, the tone of it. And he said, I learned so much from making these Guardians movies, but it's not like Superman is going to have exactly the same vibe as a Guardians movie. It's actually quite different. I would certainly hope so. All right, so there is quite a bit of movement in the DC universe right now. Lots of little things going on. We had the Blue Beetle trailer the other day, and something that's interesting about the Blue Beetle trailer is it's getting way more buzz than I saw anything for Shazam, which is pretty cool. And there was a lot of buzz for Black Adam because Henry Cavill was back, but this is a fresh new character, and there is a possibility that it could make some money at the studio. What I'm predicting is it won't make nearly as much money as Black Adam, but it is definitely going to make more money than Shazam did. That's what I'm predicting. And then I'm expecting, the Flash to make under $1 billion, somewhere between $750 and $1 billion is what I'm expecting. But I don't expect it to hit the billion mark, especially if they're erasing everything. And we still don't know what's going to happen at the end of that movie and what they're going to do and how they're going to explain why the universe is changing, because I still think they have this incredible opportunity to confuse the crap out of general audiences. You can't just change everything without some sort of an explanation, especially after, you talk about general audiences. They saw Henry Cavill back in Black Adam, and for people who don't follow this on a daily basis, they're going to expect that Henry Cavill's going to be back as Superman, and when he's not, that's going to raise some eyebrows and further turn people away from movies. To me, it seems like the DCU and Warner Brothers is in disarray. And along with that, this is interesting for people who don't know, and I posted this on Twitter yesterday. Warner Brothers Discovery is just milking stuff like a cow right now. And they're actually going to be taking the Harry Potter franchise and bringing it back. And they're inking a deal with HBO Max right now to do seasons of Harry Potter, the books, and every season is going to be one of the books. To me, that's asinine. Like, the movies are great as they are. They're pretty magical. They're fun to watch. They got more serious as time went on, as the kids grew up. I think those movies are great. Leave them as they are. That does not need some sort of a reboot. It just doesn't. But those are my feelings on it. Now, going back to the James Gunn thing, I would certainly hope that he would have a different vibe for Superman. He needs to take it seriously. But I'm telling you, the stuff I've seen from him so far, I'm not happy with. And a lot of people aren't happy with his stuff. It's the way he treated the Justice League at the end of Peacemaker. I'm just not convinced he's the guy that is going to take these characters to the next level. We'll see. We could be surprised. You never know. Now, there's a lot of people out there calling me a liar and saying that I'm saying one thing and I'm doing another. And I just got this right before I got on here, that I said I'm never going to watch these movies going forward. And that is not what I said. I have never said I'm not going to see these movies. In fact, it's just the opposite. I've said that I'm going to watch these films because I have to review them, but I won't be going to see them 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times like I've done with DC films in the past. Not unless they go in a direction that makes sense and is willing, is going to grab everybody. If they're not epic, I'm not interested. I'm tired of these cheesy films that they're making. Blue Beetle looks cheesy. Shazam was cheesy. I like these things to be taken more seriously, and I don't know if they're going to have that tone. And Superman, and especially Batman, needs to be taken seriously. And I just don't think that the studio has it in them to do that. I want to see a hardcore Batman doing what Batman does. And man alive, that warehouse scene in Batman versus Superman and some of the stuff, him confronting Lex at the end and him being in the shadows at the beginning with the cops. I just, in the corner of that room, we're not going to get that level of epicness out of the studio. They just don't have it in them. I just have real fears for the future. But I will continue to bring you guys all the news, and I will be reviewing these things as they do come out. All right, and something interesting that I told somebody the other day, and I'm going to be upfront and honest with it, I wasn't going to go see Guardians of the Galaxy 3 because I don't want to support James Gunn. But I had a conversation with my wife last night. We both loved the first film. Second film, we enjoyed it, but it definitely was not on the level of the first, and we want to see how it ends. And she really wanted to go see it, so I do have tickets for that Thursday night before it officially gets released on Friday. And so I will be seeing it. I will be back with my review that night. And I will separate myself from the whole James Gunn thing to give you an actual review of the Guardians of the Galaxy, the third film as a series as a whole. It's one of my favorite things that has been done with Marvel, but it doesn't fit in with the Marvel whole, the whole Marvel universe. My favorite film by Marvel is Captain America: Winter Soldier because of how visceral and real and serious that movie was compared to the joke, the ridiculousness of the first one and some of the stuff they've done with these other franchises. So there's my update for the day. I do appreciate it. We will see you on the next video.